Hi everyone, my name is Joe Jarrow, and this is my presentation on education in America with the focus on bullying. When it comes to bullying, there's really three main questions that came to mind for me, and the first and most importantly was what can we do to prevent bullying? There's a million theories out there on what we can do to prevent bullying, some a little more aggressive, some passive, but I think it's about time we found the right prevention and started to put a stop to bullying altogether. Now, I know it's most likely impossible to prevent bullying from fully happening ever again, but I believe with great extreme efforts, we can put a lot of children out of harm's way with great bullying prevention methods. My second question is, how does bullying affect children? I think if you ask any child that's been bullied before if it's been a positive experience, they're going to say no. Bullying always has a negative effect on children. Even thinking back to when I was in school, I was never really bullied directly, but I've spoken to children that have been bullied, and it's never a positive effect. It's always negative. And for those children, my third question is how can we help those being bullied? Now, I believe everyone has an obligation to either step up and help someone being bullied, whether it be directly or indirectly. You don't have to, if there's a bully in your school, you don't have to step in and beat them up or whatever. But whether it just be telling a teacher or telling a parent, anything helps. And anyone being bullied needs the help. It's never a bad thing to ask for help. So, why bully? In an article I read by Ken Rigby from 2012, a group of kids that were reported to bully in school, out of all of them, 75% said it was because the other kid annoyed them or it was to get even with them. Now, I couldn't believe this when I read it because to me, those aren't real reasons to bully someone. When you think about how many accounts there are of bullying and some of the extreme measures that kids go to get revenge on someone, it's a little ridiculous. I think one of the main issues with this is maturity level within children in school, and there's definitely ways that we can help this in upcoming slides. I'll explain. Next is know when to avoid the situation. Some bullies can't help themselves, and when they see someone that may be a little down on themselves, that's who they choose. Now, I'm not saying live your whole life in fear, but if you know a kid in school that's most likely been a bully or has been in the past, just avoid them. Don't be an antagonist. Don't try to start fights. Just stay in your lane and know when you should avoid the situation. Another reason why I believe bullies pick on kids at school is their home life. I believe everyone should give their child an opportunity to live a healthy life at home. And kids that bully most likely come from uh, households that don't provide a happy environment for their child at home. Most likely, when children come from home, they have problems, they take it out at school and they find that other person to pick on. It's basically an endless cycle of anger being built up from their home life and then it carries over to school. Everyone should give their child a healthy home life, and it really translates to how they do in school and how they treat others. When kids hear their parents talk positively or negatively about someone, they tend to do the same things. And we all want to set an example for our kids. Next is bullying sources. where bullying comes from. The most common we all know of is bullying that happens in school. Now, when it comes to bullying in school, there are people in school that can help you. If you are being bullied or witness someone being bullied, tell a teacher, tell a principal, tell anyone. There's always someone that can help you. The most important method of bullying is now cyberbullying. In school bullying is probably the most popular, but cyberbullying is taking over. With social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, even Instagram, anywhere out there you put yourself, there are most likely going to be people that leave you comments. When it comes to cyberbullying, most of the time, the best thing you want to do is just block someone. If they keep saying negative things on your account or on anything you post, you can block them, and then you won't have to deal with it. The best thing you can do with this is blocking the person and then telling an adult about it. Because if they're blocked from you, they're going to move on and do it to someone else. And the best way to prevent it is to tell an adult about it. Let their parents know. They can stop it from happening. And the third and final form of bullying is just in the community. Everyone makes friends through school and hangs out after school, but bullying doesn't stop when school's let out. Know who your friends are, stay in the right friend group, try not to have anyone with a negative outlook on life be part of your group. Stay positive with your own friends and avoid those bullies after school hours too. The consequences of bullying. Children become overly abused. When they're bullied in school, sometimes they're afraid to tell someone about what's happening to them, with the consequence of being bullied even more. But really, the cycle just never stops if you don't tell someone, and they become overly abused by the bully. The second consequence I'd like to go over, and I hate to even bring this up, but rampage shootings are something that's very real within schools, and it's something that kids get pushed to. Um, Being overly abused pushes kids to do extreme things, and rampage shootings have actually happened. I'm not saying everyone that's been bullied is going to go on a rampage, but it's a real possibility. And if someone doesn't have help and has the mental capacity to carry something out like that, it's definitely a possibility. And any help that they can get to prevent anything like that from happening is always a good thing. The last thing I'd like to talk about with consequences is suffering schoolwork. When a child's being bullied in school, that's normally all they can think about. And they want to detach themselves from it, whether that be just the bullying or school altogether. And the most important part of school is your studies. Children detach themselves from school. They don't want to do their homework. They don't care about their grades. They just want to forget about school altogether. And being bullied makes children suffer from this. The last thing I'd like to talk about is how to actually prevent ongoing bullying. Now, in the same article I read by Ken Rigby from 2012, 70% of teachers or counselors apply punishment to kids that have been bullying. To me, this isn't the right method. These kids are used to being punished all the time. They just keep doing it. It's shown through the past that punishing someone for bullying really doesn't stop them. Being the bully, they don't like to follow the rules. The main prevention theory that I like to think of would work the most is applying psychology to school. We need to get get in kids' heads. Think of why they're bullying. Get the reasons behind why they do what they do. If we know the source of why they're bullying, we can put a stop to the source, whether it be the broken home life. We can use psychologists and guidance counselors to step in and talk to parents. There have been psychologists step into schools and try to work with kids that have been bullying. They try to get inside their head, pick out their methods on why they do it, and then they try to find a solution for it. Now, not every school has to hire a psychologist. Guidance counselors are often a very good resource for this as well. Guidance counselors aren't just there to help you plan your future on where you want to go to college or anything like that, but they're also there for any problems you have in school, really. Whether you just want to talk about a class or even how you're being bullied, you can talk to your guidance counselor. And one thing guidance counselors have suggested in the past is actually a reward system for good behavior through a quarter of a school year. Psychologists and guidance counselors have suggested that for all the good behavior done within a quarter, then a reward is applied to students. So if you don't have any accounts of bullying, you could get a free point on your test, even a homework assignment you don't have to do for every quarter. And these are all just incentives for kids that are bullying to not want to bully anymore, to actually do something good. And they get rewarded for it. And I think it's a great incentive. So to me, applying rewards and knowing the psychology behind why a child actually bullies is a great way to get inside their head and actually prevent the reasons of why they're doing it and put a stop to bullying altogether. Thank you.